Hi, everybody. My name is Niama Morys, and I'm an Associate Director for Precision Medicine at Proclinical. This interview series is focused on gaining insight and advice from life science leaders on their experience and journey into executive leadership. I'm very excited to have the opportunity to interview Reinhard Kleyna, who had a steep career at various companies such as IBM, Continental, Heraeus, and now Laetus, which is part of Danaher as a site leader. Let's hear from Reinhard. Hi, Reinhard. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me regarding your career into becoming a site leader and working in the past as a VP and interims managing director.
Hi, Naima. Thank you for this opportunity here.
Thank you so much as well for taking the time. Right, shall we get started?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, brilliant. So your experience across different industries and with different international teams must have been given you a rounded vision of what it takes to be a good leader. What does being an effective leader mean to you?
For me, there are different aspects to be an effective leader. The first part, I think you have to share a vision, and that means to me, you know where you want to go and what good looks like. And this vision you have to clearly communicate and ensure that the team understands how they could individually contribute to support this vision. That's the first part. The second part, from my point of view, what is really important is here that you have to lead the organization by example. And the best way for me to build credibility and gain respect of others is to set standards and follow these standards by myself. That means my words have to be aligned with my actions, and this will help to build trust and make your team willing to follow you. There is one really simple example here, if you're talking about team meetings, for example. If you expect from your team that they are on time and be prepared, that means you by yourself have to be on time and be prepared. The third part here for me for effective leadership is the phrase, maybe you know that, go to Gemba. That's a philosophy, it's part of an effective lean culture or an effective business system. And the one-to-one translation here means we have to go to the place of action, of work, to review the processes there. And it's very simple. Without observing processes directly at the place, you as leader, you are not able, first of all, to understand the process, to understand the challenges, and understand the potential of improvements. There is, for example, I facilitated and I performed a lot of improvement workshops, Kaizen workshops here in the past, where we had a lot of discussions about processes, how they are running in the field, let's call it like that. But once I stopped this discussion and we went to the place of work where the process is running here, in a lot of cases, and it's really maybe 70 to 80% of the cases roundabout, we identified minor and major differences between that, what the team was thinking about the process and what was really happening. Another point for effective leadership is open and effective communication. Effective communication means to me clear, concise, and tactful based on the situation. But not only communicating, also asking questions is so important. And open communication means sharing valuable, important information. But I have seen also in the past that some leaders try to hide or do not want to share too much information with the associates. For example, business relevant information like order intake, OPEX, or operating profit here. And my experience is, and this is special due to in cases when the business is not running the best, let's call it like that. If you are sharing, the more information you are sharing, the better the associates and the employees will understand the situation and the decisions taken. And that's really a good part here, and I have seen that several times. This helps a lot in the communication with the team. And last but not least here, decisions should always be based on facts and figures. Yeah.
Great. I mean, we've all seen good and bad leadership, haven't we, in the past? And I think those are really, really important points you have just mentioned, because I think it's so important to, if you want the commitment from your employees, why you have to, in some ways at least, lead by example 100%. And that kind of brings me to the next question. I mean, you describe yourself as a professional, target-driven, and self-motivated leader. What drives you, and how do you keep yourself motivated?
My main driver is, since more than 20 years, the Lean and Kaizen philosophy. I'm working accordingly, and this is one sentence to describe it, is improvement is always possible. That's my main driver. And from the motivation, there are different sources here. And one important source for my motivation is if once I can see and feel that people and associates like to work with me and also ask me for support in case of issues or problems they are facing. And in general, that means for me the interaction with people. That's one important driver for my motivation. And what I have learned recently, it's not so long ago here, is also what can help is feedback from peers. I have a very positive example here. In the past, I took over additional functions of the business, but the challenge for me was I did not have the experience before. But the good thing here, when I took this over, I had an experienced and engaged manager in my team, which was already responsible for this part before. And by going to Gemba, leading and asking questions, I had the opportunity to learn a lot of new things. That was really great to me. And together, we were then able to further improve the process. A few years later, during a workshop with peers, I got then the feedback, hey, Reinhard, once you took over this new function, I was not sure if you will succeed here. Yeah, due to your missing experience, he knew that, and therefore he was doubtful. But after a short period of time, the process he mentioned was running smooth and better than before, and that was a great experience here. And that was for me a big source for motivation, for sure. And the feedback from peers, from peers can help you a lot here. Not only the positive, also the negative part can help you, or let's say not the negative part, let's say the improvement part, the challenging part for you can help you to improve yourself. Sometimes it's difficult with these, for example, 360-degree feedback, because peers sometimes do not answer maybe accordingly. Therefore, if you have this personal feedback, that's much better than the electronic one.
I agree with you on this one as well, because in the end of the day, if you get the opportunity to get feedback like this, it's fantastic. And then it's down to you what you do with it. Do you take it to heart, and do you adapt things and learn and grow and get out of your comfort zone? Or you stay as you are, right? But then there is not that much learning, right?
That's exactly the point. Motivation to me is also taking over new challenges. That means really getting out of the comfort zone, like this interview here.
I know, 100% agreed. And that brings me again to the next one. Next question. What are the core skills every good leader should have, and why are they so important in your opinion?
I had a great opportunity in my career to get a lot of insights in different industries and businesses, automotive, chemistry, also life science, mechanical engineering. Interesting part is here, all these businesses are slightly different, yeah? But always more or less the same principles apply for leadership. And from my experience, the following skills or values are mandatory to be a good or effective leader. The first part is appreciation. We as leader, we have always to keep in mind that the team, the associates are doing day by day their best job to the company they can do. I never saw in my career anybody who was actively and consciously doing a bad job. And this we have to keep in mind as leaders, the commitment of all the associates day by day, but not only in cases when they are doing well. And that's maybe then the challenging part also. We should have this appreciation also in case of doing failures. Because an associate, that's also my experience, is not actively producing a failure. It is always due an incorrect defined or designed process. That means the process giving the chance to the associate to make it incorrect. And this we have to keep in mind and ask then the associates who are doing the failures here, okay, what was the source of the failure? And appreciate that the associates are not hiding the failure, because this is also an important part here, and you can get this all with appreciation. And sometimes this part of the appreciation is getting worse here. In case when the business is not running well, some leaders, they get a lot of pressure, huge pressure from their management, and then sometimes they are passing down the pressure to their team here. But this will, as everybody know, will result in a drop of engagement or sometimes also losing associates. The second important part here is listening. It sounds so easy to listen to somebody, but in practice, and this I have also seen in the past, some are really struggling with this skill. You really have to listen carefully to understand the process, the issues, and the needs of the associates. And by doing this, you are gaining a lot of trust, and this is so important for you as a leader. I myself had in the past a manager who couldn't listen at all. He was all the time talking, and he was more or less keeping us or his team from work due to his own need to communicate. And that's not a good situation, because you are always in a conflicting situation with him. And sometimes that's crazy here. The next part here is leading by asking questions. I talked to you about that already. And this for me means not only asking the questions about the process and so on. I think an important skill is also that even if you are knowing the process or knowing the solution, you should try to guide your team by asking questions so that the team has the opportunity to find the solution by themselves. And this is a real sustainable approach, because always when the team is developing their own solution, they will easily follow the new process, for example. But in case if you are trying to tell them what they have to do, it is absolutely challenging.
Sounds absolutely great. And again, we've seen managers who tell you exactly what you need to do instead of challenging you. But by doing this, I think they give you the opportunity, when they ask questions, how you just described, that they can grow, that the team can really get out of their comfort zone and do something new, think about new processes, which is great. And so what advice do you have for leaders managing and developing international teams then?
The most important part here is for managing international teams is to be open-minded for new cultures and behaviors. I think that's the starting point for everything here. And if you do not have the experience, my advice would be, first of all, you should identify which nationalities and cultures are in your team. The second part is you should inform yourself about do's and don'ts. I think this is so important here for these cultures which are in your team. And then simply saying avoid the don'ts. In summary, it's all about respect of the people and trying to understand their situation. And for this situation here, I have an example out of my former business time here. I had to improve the processes and cleanliness of a manufacturing plant in China. The starting situation in the plant was really awful. Dirt, defects, safety issues all over. And you could also see the bad situation of the plant here in the faces of the associates. Nobody was smiling. We thought with the management team, okay, how can we improve this situation? And our approach was here together with the team here. We did not tell the managers and the associates what they have to do. No, we asked them what they would do to improve their situation. And it was really interesting. By doing so, we got so many input also from the operators working day by day on the shop floor. And with all that input and our trained view of improvements, we were able to improve the whole processes, the whole plant. And finally, we had really an amazing result here with around about 90% reduction of safety issues, clear structured processes, and so on. But the best, after a few months, I reviewed the plant there and went through the shop floor, the smiling faces on the shop floor. That was really a great exercise or a great learning I had here.
That sounds so inspirational and must have been really rewarding for you. I can imagine.
That was one of the best experiences in my life, because you had really to see the difference before and after, and this in the face of the people there, and that was great.
Would you say this was one of your proudest moments then?
Definitely. It was one, because when you are able together with the team to improve the situation on site for the people there, and they are happy with that, that's always the best.
Fantastic. Part of being a great leader is always being willing to learn and adapt. And I think we spoke quite a bit about that already. Which trainings and resources have had the most learning impact for you, and why?
For my professional career, my training started all about Lean Six Sigma up to the Master Black Belt level. And also there is a resource, a book from Jeffrey Licker, The Toyota Way, the 14 Management Principles. And this training and the book, that was really the starting point of my continuous improvement mindset, and is still guiding me. That's one. That's the starting point. A few years ago, I joined Danaher in my current function here, and there I learned the first time the so-called 10-20-70 rule. And this rule is all about learning new things. And what does this mean here? That means if you are learning a new process, a new tool, or a new task, or whatever, you have to have 10% of your time a training, 20% you will learn to get to an expert by coaching of an experienced expert or a leader, and 70% you will learn by doing it yourself. And this rule was so amazing. I hadn't heard about this rule before, but it's supporting 100% my experience over the last 20 years. The biggest effect in learning is always doing yourself what you have learned. And that's the business part, and beside all these business topics, the biggest impact in changing and growing myself is my family with my 3 kids and my wife. She's a business coach and continuously challenging me and my development. Without them, I would not be where I am today.
Oh, that's amazing. So good. Thank you for sharing this with us. And then I do have another question for you. How can professionals show they have the potential to be a future leader?
I think it's all about doing the right things in or for the organization and clearly showing engagement. And the engagement you can show by taking over additional responsibility, or in case you have to solve a problem, you're taking over the lead for the problem solving process, even if it is not in your area of expertise. This shows always a lot of engagement. And sometimes, for example, in shop floor management, when we are day-to-day managing the issues during on the shop floor here, from my experience, there's sometimes difficult to find somebody who likes to take over cross-functional tasks or challenges. And this would be also a great opportunity to take over responsibility and show your engagement to the organization.
Our previous guest, Jane Papadaki, has given us the following question for you. Doing a bit of a self-assessment, can you explain why you were successful in your role, and is it a template you can transfer to others?
This is a really difficult question to me. I have thought about that a long time yesterday evening after I got this question here. And I think I was successful in my role due to that I was being all the time myself, not to try being somebody else. The second part was here open to continuous learning. I think this is also very important for me, to be open for new things, continuously learning here and new challenges also. And last but not least, my appreciation for humans. If this could be a template for others, openly, I don't know. Maybe, but for me it was.
Thank you. As my very last question, part of this leadership series, we're asking our guests what they would like to ask other leaders in the industry. What would be your question to the next inspiring life science leader?
I had to overcome also very challenging times in my career, including restructuring. And this was really a hard time to me. And I would like to know how other leaders stay confident in difficult times.
Great. Thank you so much for your time, sharing all your very insightful experiences. I think there is a lot to take away from this. So thank you so much. It's really, really appreciated.
Thank you, Niama.